She delivers a version of a spiral.
All right, congratulations are in order for Stephanie Vaquer, your brand new Women's World Champion. We're going to talk about her victory at Wrestlepalooza and what's next for the champion. Let's tune in more to the Pink Square Circle. Hey, guys, we're back at the Pink Square Circle. We'll talk about Stephanie Vaquer, new Women's World Champion. What's next up for the Women's Champ La Primera? Let's talk about the victory. Now, Stephanie Vaquer, I know I said there was a scenario that IYO SKY may win, but even though I'm happy Stephanie won the championship, it was very, very predictable. And I did a review about Wrestlepalooza at the Red Carpet Ring if you want to check that out over there. Other than that, Stephanie Vaquer is your brand new Women's World Champion. We kind of expected this to happen the way WWE has been pushing her since she stepped in foot into the company. Now she has been a NXT Women's North American Champion. Her first title she won. She's also been now an NXT Women's Champion, double champ, first time anyone's held both titles. And now she has won the WWE Women's World Champion. So congratulations, Stephanie Vaquer, on that. She's definitely done her thing. Now, with Stephanie winning, she's on Monday Night Raw. We got to see how they're going to set up the whole scenario for her. Stephanie defeated IYO SKY in a great match. Probably the best match at Wrestlepalooza. Both IYO and Stephanie tested each other and pushed each other as far as they could. There was some near falls. We thought IYO would have got it. We thought Stephanie would have got it. But after IYO, her selling the leg, her leg was hurt during the match. Stephanie hit that great finish off top rope. And that was it. Stephanie's your brand new champion. This is her goal. She always said it was her dream to become the WWE Women's Champion, being the champ in WWE. Now she has achieved this. Stephanie, we know her story. I talked to Vil about her before, how she was growing up, wanted to be a wrestler, sacrificing everything to get where she's at, even sleeping in kitchens, everything. Not having enough money, not having much, but always had the desire to wrestle and always wanted to come to WWE. Also talked about her history of she had an opportunity to go to AEW or WWE while she was in CMLL promotion. She chose to go to WWE and even went as far as to start NXT first. So that is amazing. But let's go over her opponents and see who is going to face Lee Primera. Now, I would say her first opponent will be maybe Becky Lynch, the current Women's Intercontinental Champion. She don't have to be her first opponent. Just have to go in any chronological order or anything. But I will say Becky Lynch did say that she was going to keep an eye on the winner of the IYO SKY Stephanie Vaquer match. Now, who knows? Becky may be the one to dethrone Stephanie and get the Women's World title back on her, this time as the heel character. But that's a good storyline. Another opponent, the match everybody pretty much want to see, Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer. They had a couple interactions backstage, even teamed up together before, more recently on NXT Homecoming. It was on a 6-woman tag. But these two women could definitely tear the house down. Rhea Ripley, a former Women's World Champ. So I could definitely see this being a very good rivalry between Stephanie and Rhea Ripley. Let's see who's on top between those two. IYO SKY, I could see her somewhere down the line maybe getting a rematch. Because she's a former Women's World Champion. She could also fight Stephanie for the belt once again. Now, this could whole tie in to the whole Asuka interfering and costing IYO the championship. Like I said, it could have happened at Wrestlepalooza. Maybe that's how they kick off the Asuka and IYO program. Speaking of which, another opponent that would be great for Stephanie Vaquer, we got Asuka. Now, Asuka is one of the best women on the roster, multiple-time women's champion. She's been a Royal Rumble winner, Money in the Bank winner, you name it. I could see her also pushing Stephanie Vaquer to let maybe she be the one to dethrone Stephanie Vaquer. Now, I don't know how long Stephanie's going to hold the belt. Stephanie Vaquer, since she just won the belt, She could hold this championship until maybe WrestleMania 42 next year. That's in Las Vegas. That's a possibility. She could hold it, if not at WrestleMania, maybe a little bit after WrestleMania. Trust me, WWE is on a rocket ship now with Stephanie Vaquer. They are going to keep this belt on her as long as the popularity can go. So it don't have to be necessarily a year, year and a half. It could be 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. However the case may be, they are very high on her. She's one of the women today that they're very high on that's a newer star. We know for SmackDown currently, they're very high on Tiffany Stratton, who is the WWE Women's Champion. We know she was kind of pushed similar to Stephanie Vaquer, not as quick, but, Tiffany also NXT Women's Champion. She Money in the Bank winner. So this is kind of a similar push, just a little faster. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Stephanie Vaquer was on and been in WWE or main roster 170 some days before winning the Women's World Championship. I think she's one of the fastest women to even win the Women's World Championship, which is the main roster title after her debut in WWE, because she hasn't even been in WWE a year. I think it's 11 months. She came last October, and she won the Women's North American Championship February of this year. And then at Roadblock NXT in March, defeating Julia, she won the NXT Women's Championship. So it's literally been, 6 months since she last held a championship in WWE. So this is her third title that she's held, 2 on NXT, 1 in WWE. But this is great for Stephanie. I know she's enjoying it. She's basking in all the happiness that she has. She's worked so hard to get where she's at. But she definitely needs opponents. The opponents I mentioned, she's going to need very good storyline and very good opponents that's going to push her, because Stephanie Vaquer is the babyface. She's going to need heels like Asuka and Becky, so that could make her championship run good. Those are 2 good heels. One of them is the Women's Intercontinental Champion. That will work. And a matter of fact, if Becky's going to be potentially the one to defeat Stephanie for the championship or a very good challenger, I don't see her holding on to the Women's Intercontinental Championship much longer. She could very well lose that to AJ Lee or anybody else on the roster. Could be Bayley, could be anybody else. But expect Becky Lynch to move into the women's main title scene very soon, because Becky already made her mark that she's pretty much going to be coming after the Women's World Championship, because she know her run with the Women's Intercontinental Championship is not going to last much longer. But I will say that Stephanie does have good heels. You have a good baby face, her versus Rhea Ripley and IYO. We could get Kairi Sane also to be a good challenger for that title. We could even get Bayley or Lyra Valkyria to challenge her for that championship. The only thing is, I hope they book her right. And I also hope that Stephanie Vaquer does not have the same opponents over and over and over again, similar to how they deal with Tiffany Stratton right now on SmackDown. You see how she's facing Nia Jax multiple times, Jade Cargill multiple times. I don't want to see a repeat of that with Stephanie Vaquer. Make her fuse fresh. And I think they'll do that because she's on Raw, the flagship show, as they call it. So hopefully they do that, because if they give Stephanie Vaquer the same opponents over and over, and it's the same ending to the story, nothing different, it's gonna make the championship run very stale and very boring. That's the last thing we want for her. This is big for Stephanie. This is a test. WWE is also testing Stephanie as well. They're trying to see how she's gonna have a good championship run with the Women's World Championship. It's either, they always say in wrestling, is you either sink or swim. If Stephanie rises and she swims, expect to be a multiple-time Women's World Champion. Look at Rhea, look at Asuka, look at IYO SKY. She'll be along that class. If she sinks and it doesn't work out, expect her to not have any much more title runs after that. That I do not see happening. If she sinks, hopefully she doesn't. But it's not all up to Stephanie. It's definitely up to booking as well, the creative team. They have to do her right. If you make her run stale, it's going to make her look stale. Then the fans going to eventually boo Stephanie. They're not going to be cheering for her much more. So hopefully we don't get that with Stephanie. But Stephanie's the champion. I know she's going to do a championship celebration, a women's world championship address to the whole WWE universe on Monday Night Raw, because this is one of the biggest, if not the best moment that happened at Wrestlepalooza. But we are definitely in a new era, the La Primera era, if I said that right. But yeah, so Stephanie Vaquer, she's definitely unique. And I believe also she made history. She's the first Latin American woman to win the Women's World Championship. So that's also great for Stephanie as well. But only time will tell. We're going to sit back and watch and see how her championship run goes. But other than that, though, guys, that's all I have for Stephanie Vaquer, new Women's World Champion. What's next up for Women's Champ La Primera? You guys also click the link to the next video. And, of course, I will see you guys later.